Breakouts and reversals. Typically when structure is broken, let's say if we have a higher high and a higher low, higher high, higher low, and so we have a buy trend, but then, or let's say based on this example, let's look at this example. So let's say if we have higher low, lower low, higher low, lower low, higher low, lower low, and it's a downtrend, and the high, the next high becomes a higher high. That's called a breakout. That's a market reversal. So once it breaks out, usually it'll retest the previous zone. It'll retest that previous high, and even it'll try to go below the previous low. If it fails to break the previous low, then you have a reversal, and now you have an uptrend, and it's going to start making higher highs, higher lows, instead of making higher lows and lower lows, right? So when structure is breached, this is called a breakout or structure break. This represents a high possibility of a trend reversal, a market reversal. So let's head on over to the charts. This is a perfect example, AUD USD. See how it's going down? And make it easier for you to see. We could do the small ones. That one broke. Boom. This high that's right here is the previous high before it shot down, right? And this is the previous low. As you can see, this low never breached this low here. So if this happened and it breaches the previous high, price breaches the previous high like this, then we have a reversal. If you can also have situations where it does this, you know, so it has to it would have to hold on, let me fix this up. It'll have to breach the previous high to be confirmed that it's a reversal. And we're going to get more into that when we talk about support and resistance. Right? So being that this was the previous high, you draw a line there. It broke that previous high, so now the market direction has changed. And the same over here. See how you have a high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, but then you have a lower low. This low is breached. If you're looking at a buy trend and the low is breached, then you have a reversal. If you're looking at a buy trend and the low is breached and the next high is still lower than the previous high, you have a reversal. If you have an uptrend, if you have a downtrend, a sell trend, a bearish market, and the high is breached, the previous high is breached, and higher lows are being formed, then you have a reversal. It's now going up. This is how you can see what's going on. You can recognize when there are reversals, right? This is strictly price action, right? So even this right here, notice that this was the last significant low right here. The last significant low. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Boom. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen either. What's going on with this thing? Alright, boom. Notice how it started going against it, right? So notice how you have higher highs and higher lows, but this low kept being tested. Instead of creating higher lows, it kept being tested until it was finally breached. And then the high after the breach was lower than the previous high, which is a signal that the market is reversing. Right? And y'all, you getting it? Are you guys getting it? There are situations where something like this might happen, right? Something like this might happen, right? You got the higher highs, and this was the last low. It breached, right? So it breached, rejected, retest, went down. It created this low, but notice how you have to be very careful. Notice how this low was created right here. This is the low that was created. It was breached, which created this new low right here. So the previous high we can say was over here. So if it breaches that high, then we know it's reversing, right? So it came down, a lower low, went up, lower high, but this low failed to break this low. That's a uh-oh sign. That's a uh-oh moment, right? Because that's a sign that there could possibly be a reversal. So, and I'm gonna teach you how to spot things. Like this is what I'm a master of. This. But I'll show you in the advanced in the entry module. But if you take a look at this, you'll see that this, even this high right here, we don't even have to look at this high. Look at this high. So it created a high and it created a low. So now this low is higher than the previous low, and then if in order for this to continue going down, this high will have to remain higher than the next high. But look at what happened. That high got broken, and now we have a higher high. That symbolizes, or it gives you the signal that now we're in an uptrend. Look at how this low didn't even come anywhere close below down here. So now we have higher highs, higher lows. Uptrend, right? Another way to see this stuff is by drawing trend lines. I don't too much use them anymore because it's all subjective and it can kind of mess you up. Let me not mess you up with that. If you use trend lines, you use them, but that's on you. I don't use them because they don't always work, right? So yeah, that's what it is with breakouts. Breakouts is whenever there's a breach in structure, in the structure direction and structure, then that's a breakout. What we typically want to do is to catch the trade before it breaks out. And that's what skilled traders do. Because once it break out, it's not too late, but you just missed an entire move down here. All this has been missed. And you're getting in here. So you just miss. I mean, there's no problem with that. There's a more conservative trading or safe way of trading You just missed like 80 pips, 90 pips. You know what I'm saying? But you still bagging a good 260 pips. Could have bagged 300, but you still bagging a good 260 pips, which is no problem, right? You still got the pips. So that is that. That is that. So we're gonna move on to the next section, the next module. Please rewatch the market structure modules if you need any assistance and you are in the group, in the team. Please reach out to me and we'll do one-on-one Zooms, and we'll do one-on-one, and I'll kind of test your knowledge to see what you know and what you've been learning. So please study, put in the chart time, and work on mastering this skill set. Love y'all.